Hey guys, it's Calvin, and today I'm going to be going through some of my 3DS games that I own. Not all of them, of course I can't go through the digital ones, and I won't go through every single physical one that I own because it would take a very long time. So you won't be seeing stuff like Shin Megami Tensei games, or maybe the Persona Q series, or Persona Q2. Even though I own them, I don't really want to show off a bunch of digital games on my 3DS at this point in time. But I will show off some cool physical ones, and maybe you might have some of them, and maybe you don't. Let's take a look. To start off, I think it's important to show off what 3DS system that I own. I own the new Nintendo 3DS. I got it, I think, just a little bit after it came out. It's a blue one. I chose blue because I'd never owned a blue console in my life, so it was kind of real fun, like, color to buy, especially since every other console I own is either white or black. I like the color of it. I think that the screen is big enough. A lot of people don't like the screens on the 3DS console and the systems, but I actually think that, like, I'm looking at it through the viewfinder here, I actually think it looks pretty okay. I think it looks pretty good. I play it as much as I can. In fact, it's one of my favorite systems ever. It truly is. And this itself was really powerful for what it does. The 3D is extremely stable, which means if you're playing 3D games on it, it's a lot of fun, a lot more fun. You don't have to worry about moving your head too much or not moving your head too much. And also, I had some cool exclusive games for it as well. Not many, I think like 2. But it was well worth it in the end for the exclusive games that I did buy. To start off, we have Pokemon Crystal, the Crystal version. This was a cool physical version they released of the downloadable titles. There's no actual physical cartridge in here. But when I saw this, I actually thought it was a good idea to pick it up because I didn't know how many they were going to keep in stock. I think the shiny case is awesome. I haven't opened it because I already own Pokemon Gold and Silver on the 3DS, so I don't need to download it at this moment in time. But it's a really cool thing to get. I think it's a cool souvenir, kind of like the cool collector's thing, which I don't get many collector stuff, but the idea of getting a collector's version of this, it's very shiny. As you can see, the light really glimmers off it. It kind of makes everything else on the camera really dark as well. I really like the look of this. I really like the idea of this. I've never played Crystal. I've only ever played Silver and Gold, but I saw this and just had to pick it up. Sticking with Pokemon, we got Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. This was expensive to buy because Pokemon games rarely go down in price because kids continue to buy them and parents continue to buy them as the year goes on. So there's no real need to lower them in price because everyone has a birthday almost every day. You know, there's someone has a birthday, some kid has a birthday, and they ask for Pokemon, which means that the 3DS Pokemon games and the DS Pokemon games just don't dip in price that often. I bought this in a store for €42, I think it was, just last year. So you can tell that like it was a pretty significant purchase, I think, especially for a game that came out years and years ago. I will say that I really like this game. I love the Pokemon series. For me, the Pokemon series is just a fun game to go through every once in a while, and this was no different. Sticking with Pokemon, we got Pokemon Y. Pokemon Y is another one of my favorite Pokemon games. I know a lot of people don't like the X and Y series. For me, this was one of my favorite experiences with Pokemon ever. It was my first 3D Pokemon like it was for everyone else as well. It is the first like 3D, full 3D Pokemon on the 3DS, and when I saw it for the first time, I was blown away if you compare it to the old Pokemon games. I know it's not something to like, you know, look at like as this really gorgeous graphical showpiece nowadays, but at the time, being able to play Pokemon like this was such a novelty. It was so cool. And going through this game is really smooth. The Pokemon are cool in it. They have a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon, which I, like, honestly, I think is probably my favorite gen. Gen 1 and 2 are my favorite gen of Pokemon. And really, it's not really the story, because the story is something that's, like, fantastic. It's not the characters even though the characters are fun. I just love going through this world. I think it's really vibrant, it's pretty, it has some cool locations, and because of that, it made going through this place very interesting, and even going through the towns as well. Very different from any other Pokemon game that we really saw before, and I can't say enough good things about this game. Yeah, a lot of people don't like it, but I really love it. Next, we're talking about Monster Hunter Generations, a game I actually haven't finished, but it was like taking over my life for a very long time. I got this, I think, one year. Someone gave it to me on my birthday. It was actually pretty generous. It was a pretty generous gift. I'd never played a Monster Hunter game before this. I played a bit of Freedom Unite, but like not enough to say that I really put my teeth into it. I think like an hour of Freedom Unite. This is a superb game, and to make it like even better on the 3DS, it looked really cool. It looked like really cool, and like I think people forget the stuff that the 3DS and the DS could do. I think they look down on them a lot as like consoles that weren't as powerful as other consoles, which is true. But the Dreamcast wasn't as powerful as some other consoles, and the same with like the Nintendo 64. But that doesn't mean that they weren't important or had great games and had fantastic showpieces of art style and graphics at the same time. And Monster Hunter is definitely that. I find in this game, when it's just a game about hunting monsters. We know this. We have to hunt monsters, carve them up, use them for weapons. I find that, like, it's really hard for me to wrap my brain around it sometimes, but when I did, it was a truly fun experience. Uh-oh, I'm about to lose some Fire Emblem fans. This is Fire Emblem Fates Birthright. Again, I got this around the same time I got Generations. I love this game. It's my first ever Fire Emblem game. I know people are going to go crazy because people hate this game. Yeah, it's not too deep, and, like, it's not, like, that much of an enriching story, but I just love the combat in this. There's something about this. It's my first ever real kind of, like, strategy RPG. And playing this was so much fun that I just kind of raced through it. Like 30 hours just went by like it was nothing. I had so much fun playing this. So to like say that I don't love this game would be very silly. Well, can I be honest? Do I remember much about the characters? Not much. Do I remember much about the world? Not much. Do I remember much about the story? Kinda. But to me, the selling point of any Fire Emblem game up until Three Houses for me was always like that combat. I'd see it online and think like, this is fucking awesome. Every time you go into an attack, like, it was the most exciting thing in the world. I used to, like, be screaming at the top of my lungs, like, yes, get him, you know, especially the guys on the horses, the Pegasus Knights. Some of the most fun I ever had with a game. And again, it looks amazing on the 3DS. Dead or Alive. This is a Dead or Alive game Dimensions that they put on because it's like a 3DS game, 3 dimensions. It's fun. It's a Dead or Alive game. I think the Dead or Alive games are notorious for having physical physics when it comes to the girls in their games, and yes, it can get a bit like weird as time goes on, but I think a lot of people then ignore the fact that this game has some of the best like fighting mechanics ever, or these games do. Dead or Alive 5 especially, I love playing that game. There's a lot of things you obviously can't get past. I bought this game because a voice actor I really liked was doing voice acting in it, and voice acting is really important to me in a lot of games, and with this it was like Amanda Troop said she did a few voices in it, and I was like, okay, I'm there. Like, you did the voice of Jordi Defective in Box Peak, I'm fucking here to buy this, no problem. And I'll be honest, I haven't played as much as I would like of this, but I bought this for €4, so not really complaining. Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. I think a lot of us are waiting for Xenoblade Chronicles that's coming out very soon on the Nintendo Switch, and this is my first ever time playing Xenoblade Chronicles. One of the funniest things ever is that like a lot of like smartasses on the internet were like, when I said, oh, I'm playing it on the 3DS, they're like, that can't look good. It doesn't look good, it's gonna look like garbage. And it's like, no, it looks really fantastic. I'm not gonna say anything about the story points because like you might be like, well, you can say stuff about the opening of the game, right? Xenoblade Chronicles opening from start to finish is just a full spoiler mess. You cannot, if you say anything about this game, I truly believe that it is a spoiler because there's so much going on in every single cutscene, such emotional heights and such like deep, deep sorrowful lows. Oh my god. Sorrow-filled. I said sorrowful. Is that even a word? Who knows? Who cares anymore? We're playing Xenoblade Chronicles. Will I get this game on the Switch when it comes out as well? I'm not very sure. The side quests in this game are not great. They're not great. Like, I think we have to admit that they're not great. But the selling point of this game is the massive worlds, the monolith soft worlds that are so breathtaking to go through. And the fact that they fit this on a 3DS, like in my mind, I just imagine them like working around the clock to get this onto a 3DS. And even though the 3DS is a powerhouse, this was impressive. It's a really impressive showpiece, and I can't wait to see it on the Switch as well because I think it's going to look 10 times as impressive. Dragon Quest VII. Dragon Quest VII. My hair is all over the place today, guys. Quarantine life. Dragon Quest VII, first time I played Dragon Quest VII, I did not finish this game. It was fun for the time that I did play it. I played it for 54 hours and then decided to drop it. The reason being was that there was many other games that I wanted to play, and I felt like I was putting a little bit too much time into this game when I didn't think I was any closer to the end of the game, which like is kind of funny coming from me because I have no problem sinking like 100 hours into a JRPG, but there was something in this game that wasn't like my favorite thing in the world, if I'm being honest. But I will say that what I do love about this game, and I do want to come back to it someday and play it all over again, it's a beautiful world with great characters, really fantastic characters, no doubt about it. Interesting boss battles, cool little mini stories in each village that you visit. It really is truly standing above like the rest in a lot of JRPG, in the entire JRPG genre. Don't take the fact that I didn't finish it as it's me saying it's bad, because it's not. I do want to go back and play it at some point again. It has a lot of cool systems. Like anyone knows, like job systems, changing your jobs halfway through, becoming different characters, morphing those together to become one ultra character. It's really neat. It's really neat. And if you have to get it, you should get it for the art style alone. And the final game I'm showing off today is Dragon Quest VIII, Journey of the Cursed King. This is one of my favorite games of all time. And playing on the 3DS with the tremendously fun voice acting, the awesome boss battles, the amazing story, and some of the best party members that you could ever find in a JRPG, it is truly one of the high tiers of its kind. While Dragon Quest VII is amazing and it is one of the standout games in its genre, this is top 10 JRPG. This is one of the JRPGs that really set the tone for JRPGs going forward. If you go back and play this on the original PlayStation 2, you would realize how superb this game is and how almost nearly every single JRPG afterwards took inspiration from this beautiful game. Whether it be in character design or overworld design or open world design at the same time. I had so much fun going through this game. It's an emotional journey. It's a Dragon Quest game. Dragon Quest games are awesome. Yes, people can say the story is kind of cookie cutter, but here's the thing. I find sometimes people get knocked up with the whole idea that plot is the most important thing. You can have a pretty generic plot, but as long as you have amazing characters and amazing, it's the execution of that plot as well, but amazing characters, an amazing setting, some beautiful moments, I feel like the plot almost becomes secondary, because you can have the whole save the girl, or maybe have the whole, I don't know, there's a demon lord coming back and he's going to destroy the world. It's how you deal with that story is what's most important. Zelda can teach you about this and teach everyone about this. Kind of the same story each time, but it's how they put those little details in between the story is what matters in Zelda, and it's the same with Dragon Quest. That's it for the games I'm going to show off today. I have a few more, but I didn't really want to overload this video. I thought there's some fun games that I showed off today. Tell me some of your favorite 3DS games, and if not, tell me if you think any of the 3DS games that I showed off were pretty good. I could really recommend all of them at any point. It was one of my favorite systems, and honestly, I'm kind of sad that they don't support it anymore. Kind of happy that they support the Switch more, because I do have a Switch now as well. But I will say that it's going to go down as top 5 consoles for me of all time.